Yeah, I think it makes sense if you're an immigrant where you don't have the citizenship and you commit a crime over here, then yeah, you should be deported. Why are we importing this? But once you become a citizen, then that's different because then that would result in two-tier policing or two-tier systems, where it's one
Mm.
system for kind of white British people and then another system for non-white British people, which is not what we want. Hopefully. Um, the debate a lot of times these days is about Islam
Mm.
and Muslim immigrants. Do you and just to kind of in terms of statistics and what people's concerns are, Muslims from looking at the 2011 consensus to the 21 consensus, which is the a consensus is what they do in the UK, where they ask people, how many in the household, what religion do you belong to, what race are you, just looking at the population and demographics of that population. We do that every 10 years here in the UK. From 2011, there was 4.9% Muslims. In 2021, there's 6.5% Muslims. In terms of Asian, there was 7.5%. It has become 9.3. And Christians have gone down from 59.3% in 2011 to 46.2% in 2021. But a lot of people fear the increase of Islam in the UK, and it's projected that by 2050 there will be 17.2% of the population being Muslim because of the birth rate that Muslims have versus others. Do you see that as an issue, um, or is it an overreaction?
So I'm not a scholar on Islam and I'm learning more about it every day, but I understand there's kind of a difference between Muslims and kind of fundamental Islam, if that makes sense. I think the UK needs to accept kind of moderate Muslims, and I think it should be, and this is to any religion, to be honest. But I think the UK, yeah, we are a secular country, and I expect people to put their country before their religion. I don't think the increasing proportion of Muslims in the UK isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's the Islamic fundamentalists who are kind of threatening freedom of speech. Um, that would probably agree that if someone converts from Islam to another religion, they would be killed. Kind of the extremists. I think really that's what people are concerned about. And it's sad because I think moderate Muslims that are just trying to get on with their lives do get a bad rep from Islamic fundamentalists that do operate in, the UK, West Yorkshire. Um, and I think we just want, I don't really care like what, because we are a secular country. Like I think when you go into kind of wanting Britain to be a Christian, we are built on Christian Judeo principles of freedom, but we don't, when you get into wanting Britain to be fully Christian or so that, you go into BNP territory, and nobody wants that. We want to be a secular country that has religious freedom, but each member of that religion needs to respect the freedom of worship, which the UK has. And I don't think Islamic fundamentalists do that. So I think we should be open to moderate Muslims. I think Zia Youssef is a great example, Reform UK leader, and other Muslims as well. But yeah, we've got to, it's not really in terms of attacks now. I think perhaps in the 2010s, there were a series of Islamic fundamentalist attacks in Europe, which were concerning. But now it is more the influence, really, and the influence over the population and influencing these kind of anti-democratic principles and, growing kind of Islamic fundamentalism in the UK.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of moderate Muslims have actually come to the UK because they wanted to move away from the extremism that they may have found in their countries. And it's very interesting because I come from
Yeah.
Iraq. But when I've come to the UK, you do see a lot more fundamental Islam compared to when I left Iraq.
Mm,
It might be a bit different now. Like the burqa, the full
mm,
burqa, is not something that I usually would see in Iraq, or at least the capital, Baghdad.
mm,
Baghdad. But over here, I saw a lot more when I came, and I was actually very surprised
mm,
by that. It's interesting that the UK has allowed more of the fundamental Islam to kind of come in. And even moderate Muslims are worried about
mm,
that in the UK, because, to your point, there is a difference between kind of Muslims and fundamental Islam or even political Islam, which
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah, like,
Because
Islam, like, Islamism, the political ideology.
yeah, uh, that can be dangerous, but for the majority of people that are Muslim, they don't kind of connect to that. For
Mm,
them, it's a spiritual thing.
mm,
It's a private thing that kind of guides them, and they for a lot of them they do integrate in society, um, and they contribute, and they also see it as an issue. Uh, and I think that's the problem with the conversation. I think that's one of the problems with the conversations that we have about immigration and
mm,
about kind of the change in societies, that we group Muslims as one. A lot of people do, at least.
mm,
And so it becomes very difficult to have a genuine conversation because, you know, Muslims have very different cultures depending on where you kind of come
mm.
from, and different interpretations of how what Islam is. It becomes very difficult to have a serious conversation when you kind of group everyone as one.